right. Welcome back. Good morning. Good morning. How's everyone doing? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Another day, another dollar. All right. How's everyone doing this morning? How's everyone doing this morning? And the crowd goes wild. Welcome back, everyone. Hope you had a good day yesterday. No, I don't. No tickets. I don't drive that car to here. That's the Tesla. The Tesla drives itself to Miami, which is great. Morning, morning. Welcome back. Okay. All right. So some big earnings today. Google, Microsoft. It's gonna be big. It's gonna be important. It's definitely gonna potentially set the tone here for some tech earnings. The last tech earnings of the year. Yeah, what happened with baseball yesterday? I missed some of the games. What ended up happening? Wait, Chris Olave was arrested? Chris Olave arrested on reckless driving. Nice. Damn. 70 and a 30? I've done that. That sucks. The Rangers beat the Astros. Diamonds beat the Phillies. Wow. Diamondbacks beat the Phillies. Damn. That's going to be a good game. Was that tonight? Yeah, tonight. Wow. Hey, I'm happy to see the Astros lose. Sorry for any of you Astros fans out there. They're just, I don't know. Let's get them out of there. Get them out. All right. So, today, obviously, big earnings, right? The one thing that I want to point out, a lot of stocks are at the 200 SMA. Like everything, a lot of stocks that I'm looking at, which is very interesting, right? It's a big moment. It's a big moment for a lot of names. Tesla, 200 SMA. AMD, 200 SMA. Apple, 200 SMA, right? A lot of these stocks are sort of sitting at these major SMAs. So this is going to be a pretty influential moment, I think, over the next few weeks. Earnings, big levels on stocks. So it should be interesting to see how this sort of sets up. We'll see how this all works out. But yesterday, good morning. I had a really good QQQ trade. I did hold an Nvidia put overnight, which I think I was just going to wake up to a loss here. I tried to short this 430 level, but Nvidia just seems to be outperforming. I don't know if crypto is helping Nvidia at all here. I think that's part of it. The crypto move definitely gave Nvidia a little bit of a juice, I think, overnight. Definitely outperforming a lot of other names. So I think I'll probably wake up with a loss on that one, but kept that one small and, of course, can always make back intraday the losses on Nvidia. We'll see how it sets up today. But, yeah, so that's my day yesterday. It was decent, nothing big, nothing juicy, really. The QQQ rejection that we talked about, what was that? The 350. We were talking about that 354 supply. That early morning 354 supply was pretty nice yesterday on the QQQ. But we bounced very strong yesterday, and we sort of had that grind to the upside. Really strong grind to the upside. Just sort of that systematic short sell. The shorts are getting out, sort of grinder, which is, it's one of those days, right? We see that quite a bit. We see those systematic grinds at times, and that was definitely yesterday's move. So, nice day, decent day, but let's see what we can get today. So, today, obviously, economic earnings calendar. Let's go ahead and pull up that earnings calendar so you guys can see what is reporting today. right? We got some big ones. We got some big ones. Like I said, let me go ahead and zoom in here on the calendar. Here it is. You guys can see right here. Coca-Cola this morning had a good earnings, and I'm interested to see what Coca-Cola does here, because Coca-Cola has been on a little bit of a, that downside, that sort of emotional downside is what I call it, sort of because of that weight loss news, that weight loss drug that said they were, I don't know exactly what was going on, but they were saying that, demand for food was lowering and Coca-Cola was getting hit off of it. I don't really know how legit that is. If Coca-Cola reported good earnings, this could be a nice opportunity to see if there's a bounce there. Something I'll be watching, maybe to add some more shares in my long term. Verizon, GE, RTX reported this morning. That was a good one. After hours today, of course, big tech, right? Microsoft, Alphabet, two big ones. No voice. There's voice. User error. Check. Yes, there's voice. User error. User error. Okay. I get a point. Give me my point. Microsoft, Alphabet, Snapchat, Visa. That's today, after hours. Meta. This one's going to be interesting, right? Because Meta is on a 4-hour bull flag. This is going to be an interesting one tomorrow after hours. That's going to be something to watch. Amazon, of course, big. So obviously, big reports, things to be watching. Microsoft, Google, after hours today. All right. Let's go to the economic calendar. Let's pull that up real quick. And we really don't have much, right? Remember we talked about this? We don't have much today. We got the services PMI 945. Tomorrow, home sales at 10. And then really it starts to get heavy Thursday and Friday of this week. So Thursday this week, GDP, jobless claims, right? We talk about this every morning. Personal income, personal spending. So we'll sort of not focus too much on the economic until Thursday, but something to watch 15 minutes into open today, guys. Services PMI. So just be aware of that. If you are trading 15 minutes after open, just watch out for the PMI numbers that come out that could, sort of jump around the market a little bit, something to be careful of. All right. Let's go into the schedule. That's why we're here. Press that like button, subscribe to the channel. Tesla 200 SMA, it was able to get back above it yesterday. So this is something to be watching, right? It was able to wick back above that 200. I think we talked about this in the live stream yesterday. We said, be careful of Tesla sort of doing that drop and then wick back over the 200. That's pretty much exactly what it did. So let's keep an eye on this one. 200 SMA could be a nice level to potentially long Tesla off of. It's very possible, and something to be monitoring. If there's strong price action today, maybe something we could watch. Nvidia back over 430. This is a big break for Nvidia, something to be watching there. Apple, the 200 SMA, and a very interesting daily chart. So I want to share with you the daily chart on Apple and the 200 SMA. At AMD also holding the 200 SMA and holding a $100 level, pretty psych level there. Amazon 129. I want to share with you a Meta 4-hour bull flag that's interesting here. And then Netflix. Netflix looks like it's really holding on to 400 and maybe has a little bit more upside in it after its strong earnings. So interesting day. I like some of the levels I'm watching. Let's get started. So press that like button if you guys could. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Here it is, Nasdaq. So what's the level today? Well, it's the same level that was yesterday, but you can see it's coming in today as well. 14,800, right? 14,800. That was our previous rejection from last week on Friday, right here, 14,800, 14,800, right? You can see yesterday we tried to get above it, but quickly failed back below. So I still think that 14.8 is heavy. And then you guys can see here in the pre-market, 14.8 having a very difficult time getting above. So if you want to play upside today, right? I think there's two options, right? The first option is a very strong hold above 14.8 for maybe a scalp towards the 14.890, 14.900 area, right? That's the first idea. The second idea for upside is a pullback to 14.7 and a strong hold here for that upside move, right? I would be a little bit cautious. longing something if we're right below 14.8, right? If the price action is sort of sitting right below this area, you have to be cautious of maybe that potential rejection, right? Because that is a big level. We can see it was big yesterday. We can see it's big in the pre-market here. If we go to the 15-minute chart, right, look at what 14.8 is here. This is big. You guys can see right here, 14.8, right? 14.8 yesterday, 14.8 pre-market today. This is a big one. This is going to be the level to watch today. This is going to decide, I think, whether we get upside today or whether we just sort of stay dormant, potentially under it. If we're able to get over 14.8 and hold above, I think you're going to trade right into this previous double top here, this 14.890, 14.900 area. That's probably your next test to the upside if you're able to get above this double bottom, right? See this right here? This is very key. This is all from Friday. Previous double bottom, which turned into rejections Friday afternoon. If you can get above that and hold above that, then I think you will trade to the next level, which is around that 900, right? About 100 points of upside, very potential there, if we can get above 14.8. Now, if we continue to reject here, similar to what we saw yesterday, similar to what we saw Friday, and what we're seeing in the pre-market, then I would assume your next move is maybe a retest of that 14.7. And that 14.7 might be, right, a pretty decent long opportunity, longing off of yesterday's pre-market highs, longing off of that demand from yesterday intraday, and potentially you could look for a long on a pullback to that level today if this market wants to maintain. Obviously, we have to watch price action as we get to 14.7, right? We're not going to just long as soon as it hits that level. We need to see some hold. We need to see some demand step up, some wicks, right? Something to give us confirmation that it's attempting to hold before actually longing that level. So it looks like it's about a 100-point range today, right? 100-point range, pretty clear levels. 14.7 demand held yesterday late day. You can see right here it held and sort of continued higher, but we're having some struggle at this 14.8 still. So that's going to be really the area to watch. I think that'll decide your day. Do we stay below 14.8 or are we able to break and hold above it? If we get back above 14.8 and hold above it, I think you can get that long trade, right? I think that long trade could be there today. That little continuation move. It's possible, but we need to be over 14.8 for a real confirmation of that happening. All right? So 14.8, it's a little bit sloppy in that area, right? Because look at what yesterday did, right? It went up to around 14.820. I can actually, you know what? I'm actually going to do this because I think this is safer for me because I don't want to long right at 14.8, right? Because there's still 14.816, 14.820 above. So I'm actually going to move that level up to this pre-market double top, right around this 14.816 area. This also lines up pretty well with these lows here and the rejections. If I go to the 5-minute, let me go to the 5-minute chart. It also lines up well with the rejections that you saw here later day yesterday, right? Midday yesterday. So, yeah, that's the level I'd be watching, right? I think it's pretty clear. You guys can see it right there. 14.8. I'm going to put it at 14.820. I'm going to put it at 14.820. That's going to be my level right there. 14.820, I think, is sort of fine-tuning that level. I think that's about where it is, right? The lows here, 14.821. The low here, 14.821 again. The high here, 14.825. And the high here, 14.818. So right around that 14.820. Of course, it's not an exact level. It's sort of more that zone. But that's about the area I'd be watching today, guys. If you can get above that, maybe that push into 14.890, 14.9, all right? If you reject it, there might be that short play, right? That short play could be there towards 14.7 as well. All right, so QQQ, the same thing here. I'm going to adjust this a little bit. It was 358, which I still think is important, but I'm going to sort of fine-tune it just a little bit and move it up to around this 358.50. I think it's more this 358.50 after seeing the price action. And this is something I want to point out. I know it's a little off topic, a little bit of a education for you guys. I definitely, right, fine-tune these levels on an intraday basis. So I know a lot of people ask me, how often do you change your levels, right? I have the 358 level, but I need to fine-tune that level because I can see where that rejection is coming in a little bit more clear now. I see the rejection yesterday around this 358.50. I see the lows back here at 358.50. And then I see the triple top in the pre-market at 358.50. So I did have my level here, right? But I need to fine-tune it because now I can see a little bit more clarity there. Every day that the market trades, we gather more information, we gather more data, and we adjust the levels that we need to be looking at. So today, 358.50, that looks to be more of the fine-tuned level for rejections to the upside that I would be watching there, right? You can see the triple top in the pre-market. Now, if you get a rejection off this 358.50, you're probably going to move back to this 356, right? 356. That's the demand lows that came in yesterday. And what else was that? That was that pre-market high, right? Pre-market high from yesterday turned into demand late day yesterday as well. And if we get a rejection of 358.50, you're probably going to try to retest this demand low, right? And then we have to see what happens at that demand low. That demand low could be a decent buying opportunity, right? I'd rather long here and be wrong, right, than long here and get into a supply rejection, which is that's just, elementary losses there, right? Because you should know not to long here. If I long here and I lose, then so be it, right? So be it. This is similar. What we'll talk about is the Nvidia loss that I'm currently in. I shorted at supply, right? I shorted at a logical level. I shorted at the 430 supply, right? Which we had previous lows here. We had previous highs here, previous low here. So I said, hey, this is a potential long, a potential short at 430. And I want to try that shot, right? And if I lose, so be it. I took it at a good level. And that's where I'm okay taking losses, right? In trading, you're going to take losses. But I think as long as you're taking the right trade with logical, levels, risk reward, and if you do take that loss, so be it, right? You're still taking a valid trade idea. I would much rather be long here and lose on a long than long into supply and have a rejection come in. I'd rather lose this way, right? Something like this. I'd rather lose this way than long here and lose on a supply rejection. I hope that makes sense, right? I hope that you sort of understand what I'm trying to say there. Just continue to take your shots, right? Using your levels. And at times you're going to be incorrect, and that's part of trading. So 358.50, that's your supply high today. As of now, if you can get above this level and continue, I think you'll probably test that 360, right? If you get above this 358.50 and hold, you'll probably test that 360 supply on the QQQ, right? If you move to the downside, right? If you push to the upside here, reject, and then drop to the downside near that 356, right? Then look for that long potential around that 355, 356. You lost 4.5 thousand on Nvidia puts. Hey, man, guys, I mean, why are we trading with such large size if it's going to be something that we are upset about, right? I mean, if I lost $4,000, I better be trading with a $100,000, $150,000 account. If my trade is a loss and it's $4,000, that's about 4% of a $100,000 account. That's okay, right? So if I'm taking a $4,000 loss on something, I better be trading with 100K. And if I'm not trading with 100K, you are severely over leveraging your account. This is the problem that a lot of people have. It's the position sizing, it's the risk management, it's the putting in way too much money into positions. If you guys are taking losses, they should not exceed 4, 5, maybe 6 at the most % of your account, right? It's crucial to your ability to stick around here. So you're gonna take losses. Yeah, everyone is going to take losses. I take losses. I take losses a lot, right? I do take losses. You guys know that. But I don't lose my ass, right? And that's what keeps me around. And that's why the next day I come back and I make back my losses almost 100% of the time, right? Because I keep it small and I can make it back within a day. That's the key, right? So Anyways, 358.50, right? You guys can see right there, that's the supply to watch. If you get a drop off this supply, 356 demand, keep an eye on that level, right? Keep an eye on that level, 356 demand down below, all right? Let's go to the SPY or the ES, all right? Now, ES, interesting, right? And because the ES held a very interesting level here, right? The ES held a very interesting level here around this 4240. You guys can see right here, 4240, lows, right? Lows, 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 and lows. Look how important this level is becoming here on the ES. Our 4240 level held very well yesterday. So that's a big one, right? And so as long as the ES is over that 4240, I would say the tendency, or what I like to say, which is a little bit of a loose term, the path of least resistance, I think is probably higher here at this point if you continue to maintain this 4240, right? If you continue to just bounce off this 4240, I would assume eventually you're going to get that push up to that supply again, which came in perfectly yesterday on the ES, right? So I was watching this 4280 rejection, right? I was watching that rejection on the ES, and this was around the time, right? This was around the time that I started to take my Nvidia puts later day, because I was looking for a supply rejection of 4280, supply rejection of Nasdaq as well around that 14800 area, which we got, right? We got it on the Nasdaq, we got it on the ES, except I think what sort of went wrong for me yesterday is Nvidia did not follow that move, right? So I wrote to the group that I was going to take Nvidia puts at this 430 level, lining it up with the QQQ 358 and the Nasdaq 148 supply, which I did very nicely, and I actually saw a nice rejection off my 148 level, but Nvidia didn't follow that, right? You can see right here, Nvidia did not follow that downside move at all. So that's just a little unfortunate there. I would have been better off just trading the Q puts or maybe the Nasdaq futures shorts, right? Obviously the level was right, but yeah, Nvidia did not follow that, so unfortunate there. But anyways, ES 4280, you guys can see that. Very nice rejection yesterday. You're still under it, right? You're still under it, guys. So this is middle of the channel stuff here, guys. This is middle of the channel stuff here. You're right at the 50% retracement of this channel. I mean, this could go either way today. I have no way of telling you which way this is going to go if we are sitting right in the middle of this channel. So for me, the channel is between 4280 supply yesterday and 4240 demand yesterday, right? We have to wait for one of these sides to hit before we can get up trade, right? On the ES, we got to wait for this side to hit. We got to wait for this side to hit, or we got to wait for the break and hold of the channel for a real trade to set up. I just don't really like setting anything up here right in the middle of this channel. So today on the ES, if you're trying to trade ES, trying to trade SPY, I think you're going to have to stay a little bit patient here, guys. You're going to have to wait to see if we get any upside, right? Any upside to 4280 or downside to 4240, right? That's going to be the key, all right? So let's keep an eye on that today. Look for one of these sides to hit. Look for one of these sides to hit. SPY, same thing, right? Look for one of these sides to hit. It's the same thing. 425 SPY, 425 SPY supply. You guys can see yesterday, sort of stepped in there, stepped in here, previous lows here, right? You can see there. And then the demand lows, right? 420. 420. We talked about this level yesterday. 420. Just sort of sitting above that 420. So that's your channel on the SPY, and I think you're going to want to be patient before you take any trades here today on the SPY. You're going to want to see maybe a bounce and a fade of 425. You're going to want to see a drop and a demand hold of 420, right, to get an actual risk-reward trade here. In the middle of this channel, it's anyone's guess. It's anyone's guess. You know, maybe the 200 SMA has something to say about it today, right? Maybe the 20 or 200 has something to say here. But, you know, we'll see. I would rather be a trader here or here on the SPY, right? So SPY is a little bit questionable today. SPY ES are really stuck in the middle of these channels, and I would say patience is the key there. All right? All right, let's go to Tesla. So, very key thing happened on Tesla yesterday, right? See this 200? We got back above it. So if we zoom in here on the 4-hour chart, we can see we're sort of holding it, or at least for now, right? At least for now, we're trying to hold that 200 SMA, which is right here. So that's going to be, I think, the key watch. Does Tesla hold the 200 today? And I think also this 217 level, right? So you guys can see right here, 217 previous low, 217 previous low, 217 rejections, 217 rejections yesterday. And so today, does Tesla turn 217 into support? And if it does, I think you squeeze, right? I think you can definitely potentially move higher towards that 221. All right, I think that would be your next move. If you can see a strong hold over 221, I think you can very nicely maintain it, right? If you can maintain it, I think you could nicely, I think you could potentially see that push into that 220, 221 area. So that's something I'm watching today very closely. If we fall back below 217, right? If we fall back below 217 and start to see rejections again, that's a little bit questionable for upside. I think at that point, you'll have to watch that 200 SMA to see where that sort of sets up. But to make it clean today, for it to be a clean day on Tesla, I would really want to see us hold above 217, sort of turn that into a nice demand today, and then get that long opportunity towards that 221, maybe even 223 area. We'll see, right? That's going to require a strong market. That's going to require Tesla to have some juice to hold above 217. And that is what I will be watching. So let's see on the 5-minute. Yeah, so you guys can see right here. It's basically doing what you want to see as we speak, right? As we speak, it did a little break. It did a little retest. You're seeing some nice little 5-minute wick step up here. It's potential long right now, right? It's potential long right now if it was on the intraday. If the Nasdaq was sort of ripping right now and I was seeing Tesla do this, I would probably be long Tesla right there, right? So watching that 217 on Tesla today, that's, I think, going to be your key level. And then, of course, that 200 SMA below. All right? Nvidia. So, Nvidia, nice break yesterday, right? Here's the 1-hour chart on Nvidia. You guys can see we have this little downtrend, right? We have this downtrend that looks like it was potentially broken here. The key level that I was watching yesterday was this 430. So we had this previous 430 low. You had this previous 430 low. You had these 430 highs. And yesterday, it pretty much just got stuck right at that 430 level into close, right? So here's close. And basically for the last 3 hours of the market, you basically just sat right under that 430, right? That 430 was a tough level. And that was our level that we were watching. It looks like in the pre-market, you're getting that push above. So today, what I'm looking for is if we get a pullback to 430, does this hold? And if it does, is this a beautiful long opportunity, right? That is something I am very closely watching today. If we get the retest of 430, right here, if we get that retest, if we get that strong, maybe 1-hour candle hold, this could be another nice long opportunity. I want to see if we can get a strong hold at that 430 today, right? So that's a big watch. If we can maybe retest this downtrend, hold the 430, right? If we can hold that potential long opportunity. Now, the only concern on the long opportunity, if you do take it long down at 430, is these SMAs that are probably going to get a little bit heavy here, right? So 100 SMA, 20 SMA, and 50 SMA, the daily chart, the daily SMAs are very influential, and they're sort of stacked up right here. So a little bit cautious. If you're going to long it, you're going to want good risk reward before you get to that level, right? You want to make sure that if you long it, you have a positive risk reward and you can take profits at these levels, right? I want to be a profit taker here, and a profit taker here, right? And if I am going to be taking profits in this zone, then I better be in lower, right? I have to be in lower at a demand level, and that's there at that 430, right? That's at that 430. So that's what I'll be looking today. If I want to look for longs, 430 break and retest is going to be my watch, right? If Nvidia gets back under 430, then that's a little concerning because that's a rejection back below this high from Friday, right? Or sorry, from Thursday. So that's Nvidia, right? We have 800 likes, so I'm going to have to do that right there. If you guys could, press that like button. I'm going to take a sip of my coffee here. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Take a little break. All right. So, 430, right? Big level. Keep an eye on that today. That's going to be the level. I'm not going to want to long Nvidia without a pullback, right? Because if I'm longing Nvidia without a pullback today, then I'm basically just longing into the 100 SMA. I'm longing into the 20. I don't really feel comfortable doing that. So to feel comfortable for me today, pull back to 430. Keep an eye on it. That's what I'll be watching, right? 430. Could be very nice. Could be very nice. All right. We are going to go to Apple. This one is real intriguing, right? This one is really intriguing. Daily chart Apple. You guys can see this little pullback that's been going on. And you can see that 200 SMA that's sort of curling to the upside, right? See this red line right here sort of curling to the upside? This is interesting, right? Because typically a 200 SMA is a really strong hold level for a name, right? And especially a name like Apple. And so you saw a bounce near that 200 here, and you're coming back to that 200 again, right? And it held very, very well yesterday, right? Look at this 5-minute chart on Apple. Look at that red line. That red line, we moved into it. We got a huge wick off of it, and we continued the entire day to the upside, right? So, man, is this interesting? Is this interesting for like a December call option or something later, something long-term? Is this one of those opportunities where you can get Apple long near the 200, right? And you can just say, hey, I'm going to stay long Apple until it breaks below the 200. I'm going to stay long Apple until it breaks below 169, maybe 168. I'll take like a $1 stop loss, right? Maybe risk, or at this point, you'd be risking about $5, $4 or $5. And could I potentially catch a really nice long opportunity off the 200, right, for maybe a break of this downtrend? I don't know. All right, this is all just hypotheticals here. I'm just talking out loud, right, sort of doing that talk that you guys, I'm sure you all do in your head as well. It's just one of those ideas, right? It's one of those ideas. 200 SMA, right? 200 SMA. What did I miss? Oh, and the 200 and the 169 demand double bottom. So interesting, right? Interesting. We'll see, right? I'm not like marrying this idea. I'm not that interested, but it's I would not be surprised. Let me say this. I would not be surprised in 2 months from now we come back to this live stream, maybe on December 24th, right? We're on this live stream. Christmas is tomorrow. We're drinking nice hot cup of coffee, little hot cocoa. We're all bragging about the gifts we got from our mommies and daddies. I wouldn't be surprised to say, hey, look what happened at Apple at the 200 and look where it is now, right? I wouldn't be surprised at all. So I'm going to be watching that. We'll see what happens there. Just an idea for you guys. I would keep an eye on it. See how the market, of course, sort of trades here, right? That could be more important than anything. If the market stays weak, that's not going to work. If the market starts to heat up again, right? If we start to see some upside in the market, that could be a pretty interesting little demand down here. So keep an eye on that Apple. Maybe you want to see this little short-term trend break before thinking about longs. Yeah. So 170, 200 SMA. Keep an eye on it. All right, next, AMD and Amazon. Let's go AMD. So AMD, we know, broke this. Let me get more time here. So we know AMD broke that uptrend, right? So AMD went from this uptrend to a break and now is sort of stuck in this downtrend. So now what I want to do, now that we know it broke that 4-hour trend, which is that larger trend, we're on this little micro downtrend. And what I want to do is I want to go to the 15-minute chart, and I want to sort of break down what's going on here on AMD, because there is a potential turning point here on AMD. And the reason why I say that is because, once again, the 200 SMA, right? And so here's AMD. Here's the previous demand here around this 99.50, 100 area, right? And look at what happened yesterday. You can see AMD ripped to the downside, right? Got crushed to the downside to near that 200, right? And just bounced off that 200, right? So it came back to the 200, held very strong near that 100 area, bounced. Today, it's holding that same sort of area here down low as well. So if I zoom in here, all right, we can see 200 SMA sort of sitting below, something to be watching. The only concern here is this 102.40 supply, right? You can see this 102.40, 102.40, 102.40. Big area down here at 102.40, above at 102.40 as a potential rejection point. Now, what I would say, right, if the market does find any kind of upside here in the near future, if you get above 102.40 and it's off the back of a 200 SMA hold, this could have some life, right? If you see AMD break over 102.40, right, hold above this previous supply, and it's coming off the back of a 200 SMA bounce, there could be some juice there. And so that's something I am interested in, to see if there's anything of life here on AMD off this 200. If it rejects 102.40 again, then sure, I'll look for the supply rejection. So either way, right, there's a trade here either way. There's either a bounce and another rejection at this 102.40, right? Or there's the break and hold above, which could get a little bit intriguing for some more potential upside. So either way, I think this 102.40, 102.50 area, big watch on AMD. We can see how many times the stock has reacted to that zone. Let's watch it again today. Amazon, 129. You guys should remember this level. I hope you do, because it's been a very important level for a long time now on Amazon. Amazon moved down the channel lows. What do you say? Or what do you know, right? 123 demand lows. It held again. So that's just an example of channel lows holding once again, right? So channel lows held once again on Amazon. Very nice. Now, you are moving up into 129. 129 is a previous triple bottom. It's a previous high here. It's a previous high here, right? It's a previous low right there. It's a previous low right there. And it's a previous rejection right here, right? So you can see there was a lot of reactions at 129. Does Amazon do that, or does Amazon do this today, right? Which way does Amazon go, right? Does it break above 129, or does it reject 129 today and the 20 SMA? That's going to be a key watch here. I think this could be a very nice trade, actually, right? Because I know there's been very big reactions, right? Look at the reactions off this level. They're big, right? Big push, big drop, big bounce off 129 there. Pretty nice bounce off 129 here, right? Little squeeze through it. Little break and retest maybe on the intraday. Nice rejection there, right? If I keep going over, nice rejection play there. Nice support holes here, right? It's very clear that there are rejections at this 129. Something to watch today. Is it a rejection play? It could be, right? Or is it that break and hold above? So either way, 129 Amazon I think is a good watch today. Something that I would recommend keeping your eye on today. All right. Meta 4 hour. What did the Nasdaq do? Yeah, it's just sitting right under 14.8 there. It's not enough. It's still up in the air for sure. Meta, right? Meta sort of did a break and retest. A little bit messy. We do have Amazon earnings. Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, I forgot about that. My bad, guys. So let me preface that. Thanks for reminding me there, Miles. So let me make sure. Let me make sure I point this out. Right, this could be a nice 129 level on Amazon, but on the flip side, earnings after hours and no, not earnings after hours. Hold on, I'm all messed up now. Amazon earnings are when? Oh, they're on Thursday. Sorry. All right. Let's rewind 30 seconds. Let's pretend like the last 30 seconds never happened. All right. So, nice 129 level on Amazon. Just be careful of earnings on Thursday, right? So Thursday it has earnings. IV is going to be elevated, but still is a potential trade, I think, if you catch it the right way, of course, right? All right. Meta 4 hour, right? Meta 4 hour, right? Look at this 4 hour. This is actually, it's a sloppy one, right? It's a little sloppy, but it's a break and retest nonetheless, right? It's a sloppy one. They're not always as clean, right? But it's pretty interesting at this hold, right? So you guys can see we had a big break, we had a nice pullback, we came back down into this 310 demand, right in this area, and we held it very strong yesterday, right? Break, retest, 4 hour chart, nice wicks on the 4 hour, nice squeeze on the 4 hour off that 310 level. Is this a bull flag? Right? Is this a bull flag breakout in the making? The problem is you have earnings tomorrow, right? That's the problem. And that's sort of what sucks about earnings season, right? Is because you have some nice setups that show up, but you have to be careful of the earnings, right? That's the only thing that sucks about earnings, right? Because you could say, hey, I want to long this bull flag, but if earnings come out and Meta, and Zuckerberg does some stupid shit, right, then this thing's going to go straight down, right? And so that's just not something it just makes it, a little bit difficult to trust technical analysis around these major earning events. So you could watch this. I would say proceed with caution. Maybe wait for earnings to come out and then trade that continuation. If it is a bull flag, and let's say it bull flags on earnings, then there should be some juice after earnings, right? If this is a bull flag breakout because of earnings, let's say tomorrow after hours, this thing just flies off the bull flag, right? There should be some next day continuation there, which you could play. So you don't need to necessarily trade it through that earnings report. So either way, interesting chart here on Meta. Nice 310 hold. What I would be watching is that 320 today, right? We know that 320 has been a major rejection point for many, many days. Now let me go out to the 30-minute here. We can see here, right? Look at this 320 level. This was a previous support here. Turned into a very nice rejection here. And so today, I would be watching what happens at 320, right? What happens at 320? That's going to be the key. All right? The last one I got for you today is Netflix, right? And Netflix is holding on to this demand very nicely. It is. It's a pretty solid hold here, man. You can see right here, 398, 400, 398, 400, 398, 400, three times, Thursday, Friday, and yesterday. Strong demand holds at this 400 area and this 50 SMA. If Netflix can get above this high today, right? If Netflix can start to get above the Friday high and start to hold, right? This could sort of squeeze. It's definitely possible. Netflix has that squeeze potential for sure. So I would watch this high, like this 410.60. If you really start to maintain above Friday highs, I would look for that potential long. The only concern is this, right? There's always a concern, right? There's always a concern. And the only concern I have is this, and that is the 100 SMA, right? That is the 100 SMA just sort of sitting right above. That's a slight concern there. So if you get an upside move, Netflix could definitely pull something nasty. It could do this, and it could literally just crap out right at that 100. I've seen it many times. It's very possible. So if you do long Netflix today, please be aware of where that 100 SMA is. It's up there around 415.60 as of right now, okay? So watch this high and watch that 100 SMA today on Netflix if you're going to look long. Obviously, the better long is down here, right? Let's not get that twisted. The better long is a pullback and another hold of demand. Anyone that's long down here is already up a shitload, right? So I would rather be a long trader back near that 50, back near that 398. That's the better long opportunity if you see a pullback on Netflix. All right? Let's get a quick update on the Nasdaq and ES, and then we are going to head out of here, guys. So as of right now, our levels are still valid, right? We can see here 14,820 supply is still very valid today. That is going to be your watch. Be careful of that rejection stepping in, and also be aware of the potential break and retest for upside. 14,820 on the Nasdaq futures. That is the key level to watch here. And on the ES, man, is it sort of questionable in my eyes. You're just sitting right here in the middle. You're sitting right here in the middle. I think you need a bounce or a drop to find the trade on the ES today. You need this or you need this to find the trade on the ES today. I would be careful getting caught up in the middle of this channel, especially with some big earnings later today. There could be a little tendency or a little bit of a choppy sort of price action in the middle of this channel today. Just be aware of it. All right? Be aware of it. All right, guys. I just played the intro again. That's 2 points for you guys. 2 points for you today, 1 point for me. 1 point because someone said there's no sound, and 2 because I pressed the intro button 2 times. All right, so 2-1 today. You guys win. All right, press that like button if you guys could. I hope you enjoyed the live stream. I hope you learned something today. I hope you understood some of the levels I talked about, understood how I sort of get an idea of how to watch these futures levels, right? These are the keys, right? These are the key. The futures levels, understanding, where we're watching here, understanding where's the supply step up, where's the demand step up, where should I be long, where should I be potentially short. These are sort of the key. And even if you lose, guys, on these types of ideas, they're not 100%, right? What I talk about here on the live stream, it is not 100% valid. There's no such thing as 100% valid. How to make a trading reel? No, I don't make DIYs on how to make videos. Right? Nothing we do out there is 100%. We take our shots, we understand our levels, we take calculated trades that we like, that we feel confident on, and we live to accept the consequence. So if we take a trade and it makes sense for you, it was off a nice level, everything was clean, it didn't work out, that's what every single other person in the world that is here trading is experiencing, okay? You, hedge funds, the best traders in the world, everyone is experiencing losses that sometimes you're going to be incorrect. You have to not blow up your account if you're wrong one time. That is how you become successful in trading. You have to be able to take losses. You can't just blow up your account every time you're wrong. Understand that's risk management. You have to plan for an X amount of losses every single time you trade, right? So be smart, protect your capital, accept losses when you're wrong, keep them small, stay in the game, continue to educate yourself, right? So and I don't mean to make an example of this, but have a dude in the Discord who's been trading for a year, right? And a lot of people expect that they're going to know everything within a year's time. I've been doing this for 10 years. 10. Okay? And I still lose money. I still take losing trades, right? I take losing trades. I'm a profitable trader for the last 4.5 years, but I still take losing trades on a almost daily basis, right? Every single day, there's at least one trade that I lose on. Right? But I obviously keep them small and I have larger wins majority of the time. But there's every single day I take a losing trade. Almost every day. There is one loss in there. Right? And I've been doing this for 10 years. So how do you expect to be perfect within 6 months to a year, right? It's impossible. So stay in the game, educate yourself. I hope you guys enjoyed the live stream. Press the like button. Subscribe to the channel. Yeah. Peace.